Hey guys, it's Brandon at Wilson Strength coming at you with another muscle growth video for 2025. This one's regarding daily protein consumption. I'm going to give you 3 protein tips, 3 protein hacks, and a bunch of examples to get your daily protein consumption in. So if you're having a hard time getting to your daily protein goals, this is a great video for you. Please stay tuned to the rest of the whole video. You're going to get some of the best examples, some of the best hacks towards the end of the video. So please stay tuned, check it out. Please smash the like button. Please drop a like if you could. It really helps out the channel. Please subscribe. You're going to get more videos if you subscribe, and drop down a comment below if you have any, if you want to see any videos, if you have any questions, or just to help out the algorithm. I have a bunch of free programs on my channel, so check out the description on my channel. And I'm coming out with a future app. It's under development, going to be a long time down the road, but that's basically where you get able to get programs, make your own programs, have me look at your programs and possibly edit them and change them a little bit. So that's coming down the road. So if you're looking forward to that, please subscribe. And like I said, watch to the end of the video. So starting off with our 3 protein tips, the number one tip is to get 1 gram per pound of body weight per day for your daily protein consumption. Now, I'm sure you've heard that before. It's pretty common out in the fitness sphere, but it's really, really important to be getting your daily protein consumption. Now, if you're a beginner and you haven't really gone on a high protein diet or you're not sure how to start it, I would shoot for maybe 3/4 of a gram per day per body weight for your body weight, or 0.8 grams per day for your body weight. So just for easy math, if you're 150 pounds, that means you'd be shooting for 120 grams of protein a day. If you're 200 pounds, you're going to be shooting for 160 grams of protein per day. If you're a beginner, obviously, if you're intermediate, advanced, you're used to high protein diets, you like eating a lot of protein, or you're just ready to get into it, go ahead and eat 1 gram per pound of protein a day. And even if you start with 0.8 grams per pound per day, which, like I said, for a 150-pound person is about 120 grams of protein. For a 200-pound person is about 160 grams of protein. Just put your weight in the calculator and multiply it by 0.8, and you'll get your answer there for your beginning protein goals. And like we talked about in the last video, it's all about building habits. That's why I want you to start off with 0.7 or 0.8 grams per pound of body weight, because eating a lot of protein isn't the easiest thing in the world. You'll hear bodybuilders talk about it all the time. Oh, I'm on a bulk. I'm sick of eating food. I got to force this food down. It's the 6th meal of the day. I can't stand it. I can't eat any more chicken, rice, and broccoli. So that's kind of the idea. It's not super easy to eat a ton of protein every day, but it should be your goal. It should be something that you're focused on, especially if you're focused on muscle growth and hypertrophy. You're going to want to get at least 1 gram per pound of protein a day. But like I said, start with 0.7, 0.8, and work your way up to 1 gram. Find out what works for you over the course of 2025. You can make it your goal to get in at least 0.8 grams a day per pound of body weight. And then as you progress through the year, maybe increase that a little bit, or just keep it as your goal for 2025 to eat at least 0.8 grams per pound of protein, 300 days of the year. And if you can accomplish that, then maybe next year you bump it up to 0.9 or 1 gram per pound a day. And if you're already at 1 gram per pound a day, try to get it up to 1.2. There are studies out there, and I'll link the study right here. But it shows a positive return on how much protein you're eating, and there's really no cap to it. Now, get this in mind, there is a lot of diminishing returns to that curvature, okay? Like at the beginning, obviously, if you're eating 0.2 grams per pound of body weight a day, it's going to be a lot different than than if you start eating 0.8 grams per pound of body a day. So you're going to get way more muscle growth just by going from 0.2 a day to 0.8 a day. But going from 0.8 a day to 1.2 a day is not going to give you some magical gains. It's not going to give you some magical difference. We're talking about very small percentage points, very minutia gains that you're really not going to be able to see at all in the short term. You're going to only see those gains maybe in a year or maybe 2 years. And the difference between eating 0.8 grams per pound of body weight and 1.2 grams per pound of body weight in protein isn't really clear in the literature, but there's a very small positive trend showing that the more protein you eat, the more muscle you gain, obviously but with some diminishing returns on the end. So I just wanted you guys to know that getting your protein intake is very important. The second protein tip I'm coming at you guys is about meal proportions, basically what you're putting on your plate. So if you have a plate right here, you can imagine just like a circle graph at school, 50% of it should be protein from meat sources like fish, chicken, turkey, beef, steak, all that kind of stuff. The other half of your plate is going to be broken in half, so into quarters, 25% and 25%. One quarter should be fruits and vegetables, and then the other 25%, the other quarter should be other foods, pastas, rice, bread, all that kind of stuff that you like to throw in there. And that's a great way to start building your habits for 2025 to have the right meal proportions to be getting in enough protein per day. After 2025, let's say you go through the whole year and you have 300 days where every single one of your meals was 50% protein, 25% fruit and vegetables, and 25% others. Now, that's a great job. That's way better than you were doing last year. Congratulations. You have that habit ingrained. It's going to be much easier for you to develop that habit now. Send it. So now do that for a year. In 2026, set your goal even better for your meal proportions. Keep the protein at 50%, maybe go up to 60% if you're really trying to push the protein and you're really looking for some muscle growth. But if you're really just trying to be healthy and lean, 50% protein, and then increase the quarter of fruits and vegetables up to 40%. Now, instead of eating a quarter of your plate of fruits and vegetables, now almost half of your plate is fruits and vegetables, and only 10% is left over for other stuff like bread, pastas, rice, that kind of thing. So now you're eating 50% protein, 40% fruits and vegetables, and 10% other. Now, fruits and vegetables, they're very high in volume. They're very high in micronutrients, which are really good for you, help you grow muscle as well. But the best thing about fruits and vegetables is they're so high in volume and micronutrients that when you eat a lot of them, there's very little calories in them, and they fill you up a lot. They're very voluminous. So if you eat like a whole plate of green beans, it's only going to be a minute amount of calories, 100 to 200 calories, where if you ate a whole plate of rice, it'd be 500 calories. So if you ate a whole plate of green beans, you're getting tons of micronutrients in there, tons of fiber, and the fact that it's so much volume, it's going to fill your stomach up. You're not going to be able to eat anymore. If you eat a whole plate of green beans, you're going to be like, dude, I'm full. I don't care if it was only 200 calories. I'm not trying to eat any more green beans. Obviously, 50% of your plate should be protein, not 100% green beans, but you get the idea. The more fruits and vegetables you can eat, the more you're going to be able to stick to any kind of diet plan that you have, the less hungry you're going to feel, and the better you're going to feel overall. The better workouts you're going to get, the more muscle growth you're going to get by eating more fruits and vegetables. Protein tip number 3 is going to be about protein powder, protein shakes, protein snacks like protein bars and protein cookies and all that kind of stuff. Guys, I don't know what the stigma is, but go ahead and take down your protein powder. I think there's some stigma out there saying that protein powder is not as good as whole foods. Protein powder isn't as good as eating chicken breast. Protein powder is not as good as eating a steak. Well, that is somewhat true. It really isn't true. Whey protein is a protein source from milk. Milk contains all the amino acids that are required and fundamental to build muscle. So if you are consuming a milk protein, it is one of the best proteins you can consume, which is what whey protein is. So why are people out there saying that whey protein is not as good for you as eating whole foods? Why would someone tell you that no, you need to get 200 grams of protein a day, but it can only be from lean meats? Like, are you insane? That's so much freaking protein. Why would you not take advantage of a powder that can be flavored, that can be taste amazing? You can get 30 grams of protein, 25 to 30 grams of protein sometimes for less than 200 calories, and it tastes like whatever flavor you want. You can go get the marshmallow flavored Ghost protein. You can get different flavor cereal ones, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, whatever. You can even get fruit flavored ones now that you can literally mix with your water, and it's like a fruity Gatorade drink, but it's got freaking 25 grams of protein in it. So why would you stay away from these protein sources that are very easy to consume. And then there's other camps out there that say, oh, well, you could take your protein powder, but only have one shake a day or only one Zeus scoops a day. It's like, I don't understand that either. If I'm behind on my protein and I don't feel like eating a full meal, I am definitely going to drink one of those pre-made protein shakes that I have in my fridge. And I keep the powder on hand and I keep the pre-made protein shakes as well. The powder is obviously less expensive, a more economical option, but if you have the pre-made shakes, you're less likely to be at the end of the day when you need, another 30 to 50 grams of protein and it's late at night and you've already ate a lot of protein and you're tired and you worked all day and you did your workout and you're like, you know what? I don't feel like making a plate of food. I don't feel like eating my protein. If you have that protein shake there and you can just whip it out of the fridge and it tastes good, you can down it real quick and then boom, there's 30 grams of protein. That's what you want. There's some times where I'm so lazy that I don't even want to put protein powder into a shaker bottle and shake it up because I might have to clean it up afterwards because at 10 p.m. at night, I don't want to do nothing but sit on the couch and watch TV. Then that's the exact idea is I'm too lazy to get my protein in the right way. So I'm going to have some really easy options for me to get my protein in at the end of the day, just in case, or throughout the day, right? Why would I not grab a protein bar from the gas station if I'm behind on my protein and I don't have enough time to get a meal in before my workout? So do not avoid protein powder. Do not avoid protein shakes. Do not avoid protein bars. Eat a ton of them. The only caveat I would say is some of these protein snacks, they're labeled as protein snacks. And you look at the back of them, they've got like 15 grams of protein and like 400 calories. It's like one of those cookies. Those I forget the two guys on Larry and whoever make cookies and they're 400 calories with 12 grams of protein. It's like, well, that doesn't really make sense because it's not really fitting in your macros. But hey, if you're on a big caloric surplus and you're big bulk, eat the fucking cookies, get your fucking protein in. So again, guys, don't avoid the protein powder. Don't avoid the protein shakes. Don't avoid the snacks. Things like Quest, brands like Legendary, Enlightened. These are all great companies to buy from, and they all have really good macros, low calories, and high protein. There are 3 protein hacks I want to share with you guys. We just talked about 3 protein tips. They were pretty general. You probably already knew about them. But I want to talk about 3 hacks that's going to have you hacking the system, getting your daily protein intake a day, no matter what. You're going to know more than the average person does. You're going to be able to eyeball your proteins. You're going to be able to look at meals and just be able to know how much protein's in there. And it's super helpful when you're on the go, when you don't have a macro calculator, when you're eating at restaurants and family and friends' houses and you don't know what's in the food. You can at least know how much protein or an average or at least a guesstimate of how much protein that you're getting in. And just a reminder, guys, a warning, I guess, err on the side of caution. Always be slightly conservative when you have to guess or estimate your protein amount. If you think it's 30 grams of protein, but you're not sure, it might be a little less. It's better to err on the side of caution and say, okay, well, I think it's 30 grams, but it might be a little less. So I'm going to count it as 25 or 20 grams of protein. So that way, when you're towards the end of the day and you're counting out how much protein you have, you're on the conservative side, whether as opposed to on the liberal side. Whereas if you were saying, hey, I think that's about 30 grams of protein, let me write it down for 35 grams of protein. And if you do that for every meal, then you get to the end of the day and you think, oh, I got 200 grams of protein in a day, but you were really being too generous. And you're really at 180 grams of protein a day instead of 200 grams of protein a day because you didn't, count correctly and you weren't conservative with your estimates. Now, obviously, like I was saying earlier, the difference between 180 grams a day and 200 grams of protein a day is not a big deal. But please, for the sake of tracking and everything, be honest with yourself and err on the side of caution. Be conservative when talking about when guesstimating or estimating your protein amounts. Obviously, if you're eating something that has a packaging on it and it has the nutrition facts on it, you know how much protein's in there. Even then, I err on the side of caution a little bit because some of those nutrition facts can be wrong up to 30% sometimes. So you could think you're getting 30 grams of protein in because that's what the label says, but there's actually only 20 grams of protein in there. Or it's plant proteins and they're not having enough amino acids. So always err on the side of caution when counting your daily protein. But getting into the first hack, guys, would be the deck of cards. Now you're saying a deck of cards. What is a deck of cards? What does gambling have to do with me eating my protein? Well, it's going to really help you when you're looking at protein sources. So if you have a lean meat like fish, chicken, turkey, low fat steak, beef, low fat beef, then basically in the palm of your hand, if you can hold a deck of cards in the palm of your hand, that's the amount. A deck of cards worth of protein, chicken, fish, beef, steak, low fat steak, is about 3 to 4 ounces. So imagine a deck of cards. Everyone knows what a deck of cards looks like. If you don't know the dimensions of a deck of cards, buy a deck of cards for 99 cents and you'll know. But a deck of cards worth of protein is about 3 to 4 ounces, and it's about 20 to 25 grams of protein. So if you have a little bit of a chicken here and it can fit in your palm and it's about the size of a deck of cards, that's going to be 20 to 25 grams of protein. So if you put 2 deck of cards on your plate and it fills up 50% of your plate, and you're getting 40 to 50 grams of protein in for that meal. So that's a really great way when you're on the go, when you don't know how much protein's in a certain source, and you've got a chicken breast sitting there, or you got a piece of beef, or you got some ground turkey. If you can, and you're looking at it on the plate, you can imagine it fits in the palm of your hand, about the size of a deck of cards, then it's 3 to 4 ounces of protein, which translates to about 20 to 25 grams of protein. Just to be guessing, just to do a rough estimate, so that way you can track your calories and not go insane and have to go to the restaurant with a freaking food scale and freak everybody out by taking your chicken breast off your plate and putting on the food scale and checking the app on your phone to see how many macros and how much protein's in your meals. Don't do that. You're going to be freaking everybody out. I mean, hey, if that's you, that's you. If you're a professional bodybuilder, you do you, man. But I think estimating and using averages for protein is a much better way to go about it. So that way, you're just not losing your mind over the minute details of how much protein you're getting in. Protein hack number 2 is to get 30 to 40 grams of protein every 3 hours while you're awake. So if you can imagine, in a 24-hour period, most people are awake 16 hours. Most people rest 7 to 8 hours a day. So let's say you're awake 16 hours that day, and you need to eat 30 to 40 grams of protein every 3 hours, that's roughly 5 to 6 meals of 30 to 40 grams of protein throughout your day. Now you might say, oh, that sounds like a lot. I can't eat 5 to 6 meals. I only eat 3 meals, or I only eat 2 meals, or I only eat 1 meal. First of all, if you're only eating 1 meal, then you need to step it up. You're not going to get your protein in. Sure, you might say skinny that way, but if you really want to build some muscle and look lean, then you need to be eating more protein more often. That's why I recommend 30 to 40 grams every 3 hours, because that's usually when muscle protein synthesis spikes every 3 hours. If you're sore, you need that muscle there. You need that protein there every 3 hours. If you're not getting it in, now don't freak out. If you go 6 hours without getting protein in, you're going to be perfectly fine. You're not going to lose any muscle. You're not going to lose any gains that you potentially could have had, as long as you're getting in your 1 gram per pound of protein a day. The meal timing isn't that important. This is just a hack that you can remember, that, hey, every 3 hours, I need to be getting this amount of protein in, or I need to have it in my head that, 3 hours went by, I need to eat some protein because I haven't had any, or I'm going on this 6-hour road trip, I need to bring 2 protein bars, or a protein bar and a protein shake, so that way at the 3-hour mark, I can drink my protein shake, and then once the drive's over, I can eat the protein bar, and since we're going right to bed, boom, we're good. I got my protein in every 3 hours. So that's a goal you want to shoot for. So you can imagine 5 to 6 feedings of 30 to 40 grams of protein. You're going to be getting anywhere between 150 and 200 grams of protein a day. And now these don't have to be complete meals like I was talking about. You don't have to be like, all right, well, I'm clicking off this video because I'm not going to eat 6 meals a day because I'm not a professional bodybuilder. You don't have to do that. Go ahead and eat your 2 meals or 3 meals if that's okay with you. But I recommend trying to get towards 3, 4, 5 meals a day, and then those other protein sources, those other time feeding windows, those every 3 hours. If you eat your breakfast in the morning, right when you get up and you're getting ready to go to work or school or whatever you do, and it's 30 to 40 grams of protein. 3 hours later, maybe early morning, depending on when you get up, or maybe it's lunchtime conveniently, then you have your second meal, or you have a protein shake or a protein bar. Then when it comes to lunchtime, then you have your other, 3 hours later, you have, and this doesn't have to be every 3 hours. You can have meals more frequently than that. Like you can have your protein shake or a protein bar at 11 o'clock and then have a meal for lunch at noon. It's not a big deal. It's just an idea, something to remember that will help you, a hack to get your protein in 30 to 40 grams every 3 hours. And like I said, that can be protein shakes, it can be protein snacks, all that kind of stuff, protein drinks, whatever you want to get in to get your protein in. It doesn't have to be 5 or 6 full meals. You can eat 2 or 3 full meals and then have 2 or 3, other sources of protein like protein shake, protein bar, protein snack, that kind of thing. The third protein hack, and I think this is probably the most important one, and that would be to learn your high protein sources. Learn how much protein is in a chicken breast. Learn how much protein is in a T-bone steak. Learn how much protein roughly is in a bowl of ground turkey. Learn how much protein is in each whole egg. Learn how much protein is in each slice of cheese. If you can know this stuff on a rough level, then you can start to get a picture of your protein intake a lot better without having to weigh everything, without having to look at the nutrition facts every time. And if, you shouldn't be eating all foods that come from packaging, processed foods that have nutrition facts on it. You shouldn't be doing that anyway. So you need to have an idea of what whole food sources have as a protein content. You don't want to be way off and not know and just think, oh, well, one chicken breast has 100 grams of protein in it, because you're going to be, counting your protein all wrong. You should know that one chicken breast, depending on how big it is, has 30 to 40 grams of protein in it. You should know that one large steak can have 40 to 60 grams of protein in it. You should know that one fish fillet is going to have 20 to 30 grams of protein in it. You should know that one whole egg has 6 or 7 grams of protein in it. You should know these things. You should know that one serving of Greek yogurt has 20 grams of protein. It's simple things that you can start to memorize, start to remember, get ingrained into your head. So that way, when you go to make choices for your meals, you can, and when it's on the fly, when it's on the go, obviously it's easy when you're at home and you can weigh your food and all that kind of stuff, and you know what the sources are. You got the nutrition facts right there. But when you're on the go, you need to know what protein sources are. You need to know how much protein are in them. And you can kind of start to build this repertoire, this like database in your mind. That's why I call it a hack. This database in your mind where you can literally just laser eye gauge the food and just know, hey, that plate of food has about 50 grams of protein. Of course, you're not going to be right on point every time, but it's way better than not knowing at all, being 100% clueless. If you ask most people what the macros are for each of their meals, they would look at you like they don't even know what you're talking about. They don't even know what they don't know what macros are. They don't know the difference between fats, carbs, and proteins. So you need to start to learn this stuff to where you'll get to one point where you can just start eyeballing, and it'll be accurate. And you're going to know that, oh, this plate has 2 chicken breasts on it, and it has black rice, which is higher in protein than normal rice. And then it has, sweet potatoes on it. So you're thinking 2 chicken breasts, that's 30 to 40 grams of protein each. So we're at 60 to 80 grams of protein. There's about 2 servings of this black rice. This black rice has 4 to 5 grams of protein in each serving, and I have 2 of them. So let's see, 60 to 80, now that's 70 to 90 with the rice, and then sweet potato doesn't really have any protein in it. So boom. Now I know that this plate of food is 70, 90 grams of protein, whereas before you just didn't know, and you completely misjudged it. So start to get a good idea. Start to get a database in your mind, like a computer, so you can hack the system and have protein meals and know where your protein's at without having to freak out about it, without having to have a calculator, macro calculator all the time, and writing everything down and tracking everything. Start to get an idea of protein sources and how much protein is in them, so that you can gauge them with your eyes and just know immediately, or at least a good guess of what protein you're getting in. Wanted to throw in a bonus protein hack for you guys. Look at that. You're getting a free video. You're getting free muscle growth programs. You're getting free advice. Smash the like button. Please subscribe. Drop a comment in below just to help the algorithm Here's the bonus tip, guys. Ask for double meat everywhere you go, whether it's protein, whether it's Subway, whether it's Chipotle, whether you're going to a fancy restaurant with your family and friends. Guess what? They will make you what you want to eat. I know it sounds amazing, right? You go to a restaurant, they're going to cook you, and you ask for something special, they're going to give it to you. I promise. So if you get something like, um, a chicken Baja bowl or whatever from a restaurant, and it's got chicken on there, but it's got options that you can pick chicken, steak, and shrimp. You can tell the waitress, can you give me chicken and steak, like a double portion? Or can you give me double the portion of chicken? She's going to look at you with a smile and say, of course, I'll give you double chicken. Of course, she's going to charge you $5 or $6 more. But hey, now you're getting, double the protein in, and nobody cares. Like, don't be afraid to ask for double protein while you're sitting there with a group of people, whether you're alone. No matter where you go, you can get double meat, I promise, and they're not going to think you're weird about it. So I wanted to give you guys some examples of protein sources that make it easier to get your protein in every day. I know not everybody loves eating. Not everybody loves eating a lot. Some people do, some people don't. Some people struggle to, get one meal in a day. So I wanted to give you guys some ideas, some examples, some ways that you can get your protein in coming from somebody that's, been trying to get in a large amount of protein, 1 gram per pound a day, for a long time. I have experience shopping for protein, eating protein sources, making protein different meals and snacks, and there's tons of different things you can do to get more protein into your meals. And the more you think about it, and the more you look at nutrition labels, and the more you know about protein sources, the more protein you're going to be able to get in, and the more muscle growth you're going to get from it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is something that, almost everybody loves from when they're a child all the way up until they're an adult, is chicken tenderloins. Chicken tenders. Now, I'm not talking about getting chicken nuggets or chicken tenders from KFC. If you're from the Southeast, Publix chicken tenders. They're big, thick chicken tenders. Not heavy on the breading, not super fried, but when you bite into it, it's an actual big chicken tenderloin. You can also buy them in the meat section. Next to the chicken breast, they have the chicken tenderloins. Now, most people don't know, it doesn't look like a lot of protein, but each one of those chicken tenderloins is about 20 grams of protein, sometimes a little bit more. So when you think of it that way, a chicken tenderloin is 20 grams of protein, and you're thinking in your head, well, I could easily knock down 4 or 5, 6 chicken tenders in one meal. It's not too hard. They're tasty and they're high in protein. So why would you not get them? So if you really think about it, if one chicken tender is 20 grams of protein, now I'm not saying do this every day or do it at all, because you probably get sick of it. But if you eat 10 chicken tenderloins in a day, that's 200 grams of protein. Like, you're telling me you can't eat 8 to 10 chicken tenderloins in a day? It's pretty freaking easy. I think you could eat 8 to 10 chicken tenderloins in one sitting if you really wanted to. I mean, eat 2 chicken tenders in the morning, eat 2 chicken tenders 3 hours later. You do that four times, and you're at 8 chicken tenderloins, and that's 160 grams of protein. That's a lot of protein. So a lot of people I hear all the time, I can't eat enough protein. I'm not getting enough protein in. Hear it all the time from people, or 140, 150 pounds. They've been that for years. They can't gain muscle. They're going to the gym and it's not working out for them. And they just think that muscle growth isn't an option for them. And then you ask them, wait, what's your nutrition like? What are your meals like? What do you eat a day? And they're like, oh, well, I eat like once a day. And then, you go to the gym with them and it's 8 p.m. and you ask them, hey, what'd you eat today? And they're like, oh, well, a protein bar and a bag of goldfish. And you're like, dude, that's why you're not growing. That's why you're not getting bigger. That's why you're not gaining weight. You're really not trying to eat. You need to be eating more than one meal a day. You need to be eating more protein. So this is just another way to do it. The next thing on the list is egg whites. 1 quart of egg whites, one of the little things, egg whites that you get at the store, is the whole thing has 100 grams of protein in it and only 500 calories. It's super low volume. You can literally drink pasteurized egg whites. They have to be pasteurized. Don't drink egg whites if they're not pasteurized. You hear it first. Don't sue me. Don't drink egg whites if they're not pasteurized. But if they are pasteurized, you can straight up drink egg whites. Now, most people think drinking egg whites, that sounds awful. I would never do that. Try it. Pop that thing open and drink the egg white. It literally just tastes like sugar water. It tastes like sweet liquid. Doesn't taste like eggs at all. And it's really easy to down. Now, I recommend you cook your egg whites because I'm pretty sure when you drink your egg whites, you don't absorb all the protein, whatever. And to be honest with you, if you're drinking egg whites, you're going to have some pretty nasty gas. You're going to have some protein farts, and they're going to be diabolical. So if you're taking down if you live alone and you have no roommates, drink your freaking egg whites to get your protein in. If you got roommates and you got loved ones and friends that you care for, cook your egg whites. Do not drink them, please. Otherwise, you will be gassing them out. The next thing on the list is Greek yogurt. A 24-ounce tub of Greek yogurt, your typical tub of Greek yogurt, has 100 grams of protein in the whole thing. There's usually 4 servings in it, 20 to 25 grams of protein, 4 or 5 servings. That's 100 grams of protein. So you could literally take a tub of Greek yogurt. And now most people aren't going to sit there and eat the whole thing. You could. Greek yogurt is really good for you. Tons of probiotics, going to help your gut out a bunch. Greek yogurt is an amazing food. You should eat it all the time. But guess what? If you don't really like Greek yogurt that much, they make flavored ones now like vanilla, blueberry, strawberry. But here's an additional hack that I didn't even throw in there. You can put your protein powder in your favorite flavor of protein powder because they all taste amazing now. Peanut butter protein powder, marshmallow protein powder, whatever protein powder. You can put it into your Greek yogurt and it will taste awesome. Stir it up, put 1 scoop in there. Don't go crazy and put a bunch of scoops in there. It's not going to be the right consistency. You're not going to want to eat it. It's going to taste like it's going to have the consistency of cement. But put 1 gram of protein powder into your Greek yogurt. Now it tastes even better, and you're getting more protein in. You can throw some fruit in there. I love putting fruit into my my yogurt, blueberries, strawberries, bananas. Makes it more voluminous. Like I said, fruits are really good for you, low in calories. Throw those in there to make it taste better. The next thing I want to talk about is something kind of unique. I don't see a lot of people talking about it or posting about it. And that's to make a protein powder butter. Now, a lot of the protein powders, they taste really great nowadays. And what you can do is you can literally take a scoop of protein powder, and you'll have to experiment. You might make it a little bit too liquidy the first time or a little bit too thick, one time or the other, but do it a couple times and you'll get the hang of it. You put your 1 scoop of protein powder, put in a little bit of water, start stirring it up. If you need a little bit more water, put in more water. Obviously, you can always add water. You can't take away water. So do it slowly and stir until that protein powder turns into like a peanut butter or like a nut butter consistency. And then now you have basically a butter, which it's not butter, but it tastes and looks like butter and has the consistency of butter. You can put it on toast like butter. You can make PB&Js with it like butter. And you have a protein butter that's super low in calories, has a lot of protein, and it tastes amazing. So yeah, you can even mix that with the peanut butter powders, the PB2 Fit, the low calorie peanut butter options where you mix that with water too. You can mix that in there too, and it makes it an even better consistency and even better protein content. Something I found recently that's been helping me a ton is keto bread. Now you can get the Nature's Own or the Nature's Valley, whatever brand it is. I think they have the best macros. They have hot dog buns and hamburger buns as well. But each slice of this keto bread has 6 grams of protein, 9 grams of fiber, and only 35 calories a slice. That's incredible. That's like amazing. So, hypothetically, you could have 2 slices of toast put some sugar-free jam on there with fiber. And you have this piece of toast with jam on it, and now it's a protein source, and it's got some, carbs in it to give you some energy. It's absolutely incredible. I didn't know that, they make breads like that now. I found it recently at the store. Keto bread, high in protein, low in calories, super high in fiber. It's like it's your next superfood or whatever you want to call it. You can make sandwiches with it now instead of making, a deli meat sandwich, your typical lunch sandwich, Wonder Bread or whatever that has no protein in it and really no benefits to it. Not very much fiber. You can get keto bread, which is super high in fiber, super high in protein, low calories. So you can make yourself your deli meat sandwich. So 2 slices of bread, that's 12 grams of protein, 3 slices of meat, Now you're up to what, three slices, 18. Now you're up to 30 grams of protein, and then a slice of cheese, 35 grams of protein for a little deli sandwich. You know what I mean? Like that's some simple stuff right there. And another thing along the similar lines, breads, pastas, rice, it's hard to get to eat those often because there's not a lot of protein in them, but they are delicious and they are something that you crave. I like to get red lentil pasta. Now you should be able to see this in your store, or you can get the Berea brand high protein pasta. But the red lentil pasta specifically has more protein than the other brands. Even the pasta brands that say high protein, grab the pasta that is red lentil pasta. If you look at the back, it has a ton of protein in it. 25 grams of protein for a serving in pasta? Are you crazy? Now you add a serving of ground beef or ground turkey to your pasta, and you eat a bowl of pasta. It tastes delicious. You got your low calorie tomato sauce on it, and you're getting 50 to 75 grams of protein in, and you're eating a freaking bowl of pasta. Isn't that incredible? And you can put some low fat cheese on it too. How about that? Get some extra protein and make it taste a little bit better. I think those two things, the keto bread and the protein pasta, are incredible. Something I've been able to add to my diet, and has just made it so much easier to stick to and keep doing. And the last thing I like to throw on there is beef jerky, turkey jerky, jerky, bags of jerky. If you're on the go, you're at the gas station, you don't feel like eating a protein bar or one of those protein snacks or a protein shake, grab a bag of jerky. It's got tons of, it's literally pure protein. Like obviously some of them have a lot of fat and are sweetened and have some carbs into them. Grab the original flavor, the sugar-free flavor. They have the high protein, low calorie options for beef jerky. Just grab it. 30 to 50 grams of protein in a bag. It's super easy, guys. Thanks for watching, everyone. I know it was a little bit of a longer video, but if you did stick around for the full thing, first of all, thank you so much. That helps out the algorithm a ton. I'm sure you learned a lot, whether you knew some of the information or not. There are some tips and hacks and examples in there that you're definitely going to be able to use. So thank you so much for watching the whole video. Please watch other videos on my channel. It helps me a ton. Please hit the subscribe button for more videos. Please drop a like. Please comment to help out the algorithm. Like I said, subscribe. We got free programs. I'm going to be updating the programs. There's going to be more programs in the future, more videos. I have an app that I'm working on developing way down the road, real preliminary stuff. But if you're interested in a fitness app where you can have programs at your fingertips and maybe possibly some coaching from me personally, please subscribe. Please follow the channel. Please tell your friends. And until next time, it's Brandon at Wilson Strength.